And do you know there's this new thing now? The liberals are calling their babies babies. Did you know this? I just read this. They're calling them babies because they don't want to label them with anything. And that's a little weird. It's like you're just inventing new words. Just fucking call them babies then. Maybe they'll be a boy, maybe they'll be a girl. You know? You have to invent words unnecessarily, you know?
All right, everybody. Our next guest is a very funny comedian who used to perform all over Long Island back in the good old days when the clubs were open. And but without further ado, here she is, everybody, Emily Santosus. Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. It's great to finally have you on the show. I know you do that podcast, Two Men and Half a Lady. Great show. All of you guys are great on that show. I like it a lot. So I urge everybody to check out your show when they get a chance as well. It's good stuff. But you have a very interesting story. And for me, look, I might, if you got to forgive me if I ask some dumb questions, but I'm definitely very interested in you and very curious in your life for many reasons. I mean, you're a stand-up comedian, but you're also are you transitioning, or are you fully transitioned, or what's the terminology for what you're going through right now?
Well, see, that's a tricky question, or it's not a tricky question, but the answer differs for everybody. So some girls go all the way, and get their whole hoo-ha and all that, and some don't, and some take hormones and some don't. I am still on my road, so I'm halfway there because my end goal is to, have all the
Go
parts.
the full route.
Yeah. So I am transitioning, but for all intents and purposes, the way that society treats me, the way I look at myself, the way that I am, I'm a woman.
Yes, I think you're a woman too, and I think it's how you feel. It's how I think most people know who they are at an early age. Um, and I think, look, one of the things is it's such a big decision to make. It's one thing to say, oh, I feel like this, or I feel like a woman, I feel like a man, I feel like, whatever, but to go and literally change who you are is very, very brave, and very scary. And it's the desire to do that. How tell me, walk me through the thought process of when you decided yes, I'm doing this.
So, well, actually, I put a post up, National Coming Out Day, which was Sunday, and I basically said when it happens. It was my birthday, my 37th birthday, when I woke up and just said, "That's it. I got to do this." I had been married twice. I have 2 kids, beautiful kids, and my second wife had moved out while I was away. I knew, and when I came back, it was just me. And I spent my whole life pouring all my energy into somebody else, so not focused on myself. So I already knew. I always knew who I was, but I figured if I just focus on them and not me, then I'll be okay, and I'll be fine. And then when she moved out and it was just me, and I didn't have somebody else to focus all my energy on, what did I focus on? Focused on myself.
Right, yeah.
It took about a month and a half of just focusing on myself to be like, that's it, I'm doing this shit. So I woke up on my birthday when I was 37, so I'm 45 now. So 8 years ago, and said, I got to do this. And then that's how that started. So I always knew, but I was not able to make the decision or to take that step until then.
So yeah, so you're married, you have kids. Are you would you say, would you say you were bisexual, or you're homosexual? How does that work out?
Trisexual. Try anything once, maybe twice. I like guys and girls. I primarily was hetero, I guess, in some respects. Growing up, really had mostly relationships with women. I dabbled once or twice with guys. So I guess that bi would probably be the most. And this is where people get confused with this whole LGBTQ WTF,
right, yeah.
With the alphabet soup that we are, is that trans is who you are, and being gay, bi, or lesbian or whatever, that's who you love. So it's 2 distinctly different things. So I am transgender, but you could say bi You know, I lean more to women because men suck. No offense, by the way. I don't know you that well. You might be a nice guy. You probably are.
No, I like. No, like I said, I find this whole you know, thing fascinating, and I think it's got to be, I guess, a better time for transgender people now. I think there's a lot more acceptance than there was, let's say, 20 years ago. You did this 30 years ago or
Yeah, well, I
whatever.
would have done it. You know,
Right.
I fear, and then, but as you get older, you lose that. When you're a kid, when you're younger, you think the world of what other people think of you, and when you get older, you're just like, you know, you don't
Right.
care anymore. You know, it doesn't matter what people think. You don't go home with them. They don't pay your bills. None of this crap, right? So it's how about at the end of the day how you feel, and are you comfortable with yourself? And as my therapist says, you make a decision to do something when the pain to change or the pain to remain outweighs the pain to change. So good,
Yeah.
good to think about it. And yeah, so, but it's also more accepted now. Not as accepted as being, you know, just gay or a lesbian or that. There's still some whatever, and especially now with all the like people being gender fluid and you know being androgynous, and it throws kind of, I think, the older people off a little bit. Like I'm fighting to use the women's restrooms. I want to go to the bathroom and in my gender, right? And I want to sit down and pee. And then you have somebody walks in and they got the full-on beard. It's like, nah, I'm a chick too. And then old people like, wait a minute.
If you go to a ladies' room and you notice a seat up for any reason or pee on the seat, it's not me, because I sit and I can still aim. So, not me. Putting that out there, don't judge.
You know, the younger generation is fine. Younger generation, like, you give a shit, like what you do with your life.
Yeah,
Which
the younger.
though.
Yeah.
It should be. Like, it shouldn't matter. Like if I want to dance naked in my bedroom, I don't, by the way. But if I wanted to, I could, and because it's not bothering anybody. But if I did that in Times Square, well, actually, it probably wouldn't bother anybody now. There's nobody there because for the COVID. But you know, get what I'm saying, though. You know,
Right. Exactly.
it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, and you know, I always, you know, have, for lack of a better word, empathy for what you're going through, because it's got to be tough to feel a certain way, and then to know that you're going to be judged, and to know that's going to be tough on the family, to know that's going to be tough to old friends you may have had growing up and things.
I lost a friend, but my family's been good. My mom is like a champ. She hasn't messed up once in 8 years. I'm with her and she meets somebody. She's like, "Oh, it's my daughter Emily," and she's just like, bottom. She doesn't slip. Usually, the longer someone knows you, the harder it is. It's a mistake. It's not like you're being a prick. It's just like, you know, it's like, oh crap, I'm so used to calling you, you know, by your old name. But my mom's been great. So in that respect, and work has been good. But you know, a couple of friends. But then, you know, you can start thinking about it. Were they really your friends? But they were, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
vacation with this one guy. Like, we would hang out a lot. And all of a sudden now it's just like, you know, he's doing nothing to do with me. And it's cool. You know, I've made new friends.
Right.
You know?
Because you're still the same person, the same interests and things. Now you're just now decided to let everybody know, hey, this is how I feel, who I am.
Yeah, do you ever do you eat ice cream?
Yes.
All right. So do you know Magic Shell?
Yes.
Yeah, Magic Shell.
Love Magic Shell. Hardens up.
Exactly.
Look, it's Magic Shell, the topping that makes ice cream even better. Magic Shell pours on soft, then turns hard.
It's Magic Shell. It's just a shell. It's perfect the way you say it. Same person, different exterior, right? But I didn't change my sense of humor. I didn't change, although I never did comedy before this. You know, I am the same person. Some things change. The way you handle situations. My emotions are a little, they get the better of me sometimes, and hormones. But no, it's not even funny. It's crazy. But yeah, but other than that, I'm the same person, you know. So
like the Magic Shell you're saying is just the exterior. So
yeah,
you broke that shell. Is that the analogy? And now we can see that you're
yes.
really
who I really am, exactly.
Delicious ice cream underneath.
Exactly.
Getting a cherry on top is pretty tricky.
Exactly. Definitely not vanilla. Definitely more than vanilla. But I tell, when I do my comedy, it is 100% like centers on who I am and what I've gone through and what I go through and you know what it was like growing up, knowing who you were, but not being able to express it.
Oh, so we got some hecklers here? That's awesome. I'm just gonna give you a little fair warning. This kind of girl I am. If you heckle me, I will teabag your next drink. I know the wait staff a lot better than you do. You like Dunkin' Donuts? Well, you probably got Dunkin' Peanuts.
We're talking about, you transitioned about what, like 7-8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Pretty major league decision. And you've been a woman for those 8 years, and you kind of have an advantage in comedy now because you've been on both sides.
I can't even get a bisexual person to date me, and I'm the perfect girl for them. I mean, what's that old jingle? Sometimes you feel like it, sometimes you don't. I mean, it's like I got it all, and it still doesn't work. Yeah.
No, that's true. When I make a joke, some guys can relate in the audience, and some women can relate. Well, maybe they both can, because I'll give you both sides of the coin.
See, it's assumed that since I'm a girl with a penis, I must love it in the, well, right? And let me tell you something. How do I phrase this? Let's see. Contrary to popular opinion, I don't like being fucked. I mean, quite simply.
Now, do you ever miss being a guy? Do you ever want to go like?
I joke about that. My life was definitely easier. Men have it easy. Like, you don't have to worry about makeup. I'm not like I'm wearing any right now, but leaving the house. Like, if you're disheveled, you don't want to shave, it's fine. You want to put on a pair of pants that have wrinkles in it. Nobody cares. Nobody's staring at you. It's like, oh God, what is he wearing? Nobody does that.
Right.
But when you're a girl, you are scrutinized. Like, I eat out. Before COVID, and I go by myself. Like, I'm usually by myself, and I feel like people are watching me.
Right.
It's like, as a guy, you're like, right, and as a girl, you're just like, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always feel like there's eyes on me. And the one thing I miss about being a guy, besides making more money, is because that's a fact, is pockets.
The front pockets in women's jeans suck.
Because you spent 37 years, your whole life, and you got your wallet, you got your keys, you got your phone, everything you good. And then you become a girl, and like girls don't need pockets. You know why, right? Because it messes up the shape. Because you want to see ass and you want to see the hips. You don't want to see this big block sticking out your fucking thigh, right? So I hate that. So you got to carry a bag, which is fine because I have one. And it sounds like I'm bitching, and then everybody says, "Well, you asked for it, right?" But nobody asks for it. But yeah, I miss pockets. So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to your question.
What I love about that premise, though, is it's something that's true that we don't think about a lot.
You don't think about it at all. You know why? Because you have pockets.
Yeah, exactly. I have pockets. I don't have to worry about that stuff. But yeah, I never thought about that. Women don't really use their pockets that much because we want to.
Because they don't have them. It's not that we don't use them. It's they don't exist. And if you I make the joke. I'm like, women, how are you? Aren't you happy when you find something in a store and you love it, and then you find out it has pockets, and you're like, oh my God, those pockets, right? And if you see a girl and you're like, nice dress, and they have pockets, but check out the pockets though. You know what I'm saying? It's like some guy showing off their new Turbo Z or whatever. I'm showing my age. That's how exciting it is.
And I'm an open book with my transition, but I get questions sometimes. Like, one of the girls at work asked me, so when it's all done, you're gonna have a working vagina? I said, no, I was shooting for one of those welfare ones, the ones that shoot out the babies that don't go to work.
You said that you're not fully transitioned yet. Are you? Is there a part of you that doesn't want to get rid of that last piece?
It's funny you should mention that, because I'm dealing with this now. I had I had a consultation just the other day with the doctor, and it's something that I want to do, but it's also something. I'm just gonna throw this in a container, but it's also something that it's a big step. It's not like I'm it's not like I'm now debating, oh my God, I really don't want to be a girl. That's not what I mean.
Right.
That's a hell of a recovery too. I mean, my friend just went through it, and just imagine somebody opening you up and turning you inside out. Like, and I'm not even like, that's legit what it is.
Right. And it's physically, it's going to be a tough surgery and all that. But I would also think that it's final, like, you know what I mean? Not that you're not confident in what you're doing, but there's something to it.
That's very tricky. That's a tricky subject. So I know you're walking a tightrope right now. It's okay.
But after you do that, there is no return. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not, I'm trying to, like you said, walk that rope. I'm not trying to insult or anything. I'm just saying, once you really remove that part of you,
you can't go back.
That's it. And that's got to be scary, regardless of how confident you are.
So, and listen, I know some of you women are looking at me and thinking, like, that shirt does not go with those shoes, but these boobs don't go with this penis. So my wardrobe is the least of my problems. The least of my problems.
I mean, I got some routine because of this shit. Let me tell you. I mean, there's not a lot of people out there telling the jokes I'm telling, you know what I'm saying?
There's not a lot of transgender comedians.
Yeah, there's a handful of us, you know, we're not unicorns, like there's more than one.
Right.
I met one in the city, this woman, Jade McBride, I met her.
You're either trans or you're a drag queen who's just not putting in the effort.
And I know one on the island. And other than that, that's about it. So it's not like you go to a comedy show, you go to like Governor's, and there's 12 comics on there, and they're all guys, because mostly guys, and you got dick jokes, and you got COVID jokes, and you got I hate my wife. That's what you have, and it's just like it's like a buffet with really shitty choices, right? It's just these three things you can have, and then I show up.
I love dressing rooms. I was in a cheap Burlington, like a shitty Burlington, where they had the men's and the ladies' rooms next to each other. So I'm in there trying on dresses, and I'm pretty much sweating my balls off, really.
Yeah, that's such a drug. I don't do drugs, man, but that's like the closest thing, I think, is to have like a whole room. And I remember the first show I did when no friends were there, no bringer. There was just, I was in the city, and there was none of my friends. And I'm just like, I was nervous, but then I was also like, well, this is a real good gauge of my material. If I don't have friends being like, oh yeah, she's my friend, right?
Right.
If they don't know you, they don't give a shit.
Right, yeah.
Funny, they're not gonna laugh. But they did. I'm like, all right, so this is good. And that's how like I started to like, training wheels, I guess, right?
Right.
Like you keep your friends close because like, oh, come and support me. And now I love it when they're there. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. But like I know I can stand
but
up.
There's something to it, right? When you could make a room full of strangers laugh, there's it's a little bit different than once your friends laughing, and because they're strangers, they don't know you already. They don't already know your sense of humor. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't owe me anything.
Right. Yeah. So then, and that's awesome.
I don't understand. And I'm my own worst enemy too, because here's the thing. It's like, when you're younger and you're a guy, your mom or whatever will tell you, stop jerking off, you're gonna go blind. Well, when you transition, your doctor tells you have to keep doing it. It's the weirdest thing, but it's so true, right? So I gotta do this every once in a while, right? So I gotta do this. And every time I finish, I go wash my hands, right? And I look at myself in the mirror and I yell at myself to make me a sandwich.
You mentioned depression, and I would imagine it's been a tough ride, and the stand-up must be cathartic for you.
Oh yeah, like seriously, like all the crazy dumb shit that happens, right? I would get depressed back in the day, because I'd hold it in, right? And like some of it, like I wouldn't even say it therapy because like I'm an idiot, right? Paying for this stuff. But then I started doing stand-up, and I just take all that negative crap and I package it into a joke, because I would sit there and I'd be like, yo, man, that's so messed up. But if I was a third person in the room, I might think that was funny. And, right? Like just take yourself out of the equation for a second, because it hurts.
Yeah.
And then just start writing jokes about it. And God, I can't even tell you how much crap I've written. It's just so much stuff. There's not a lot of stuff from before transition, because my life was like, bleh. It was just like normal, like, okay, I'm a guy, I'm just doing my shit. But now there's just so much material.
And you know, I spent my whole life wanting to wear bras. I know, right? So, wanting to wear them. Now I wear them, and it's just so... You know, bras are like men to me. Yeah, they support you, but you fucking hate them anyway. You know? You just do.
Yeah, it's been a gold mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's nuts. You know, like I don't know. It's just it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. But I enjoy it. If I didn't transition, I probably wouldn't be doing stand up because there's a lot of humor and tragedy, I guess. You know, if you think about it, and if you step outside, remove yourself from that, and you'd be like, you know what, it's kind of funny, you know.
Yeah, but also it's got to be able to get it off to your chest, to go up on stage and to make light of painful situations, or to tell stories that have a punchline through your pain, right? Where you're able to find the funny in your life, of, like you said, pockets, things like that. Yeah. And then and then you get that high from the crowd, from the laughter. And it's got to, like, they say, laughter is the best medicine, and all those old cliches, but there's a lot of truth
tell that to Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, I know, right? We got to get the clubs back open.
Exactly.
Have you been at any of these secret backyard shows, or these garage shows, or rooftop shows?
First off, I don't know. Are you the feds? We have to ask, because I got to ask, because the first rule about comedy club is we don't talk about comedy club. Okay.
I think we're clear. I won't say anything. I promise.
I have been known to tell a joke or two to people I may or may not know at places that you may or may not have been to at certain times, maybe.
Excellent.
That's about all. That's all you're getting out of me.
I love that there's all these underground secret comedy shows happening. It feels like the old days with the the Prohibition, when they had the speakeasies. It's almost like comedy speakeasies. And
well, that's what it is, right? I mean,
yeah,
you have a choice right now. Like, if you want to get up and you want to, not for anything. It's not just the audience. Like you said it yourself. It's the comedians too that need this.
Yeah, for sure.
To let out the things that are hurting them and whatnot. So, I mean, this is, I mean, if you've been to Governor's, I'm sure you have, you saw everything Jimmy did, plexiglass, and the whole thing. It looks like a gas chamber.
Right.
You drop the tablet in there and kill the comedian, and took half the tables out. I mean, why don't you just let adults be adults? And if, God forbid, there's a club out there not doing the right thing, you shut them down.
Right.
I gotta shut down everybody. Just let people make decisions about their own health. Right.
And it's weird. Yeah.
Stupid, but just, give us the opportunity.
Exactly. Treat us like adults, like you said.
Yeah.
And plus, he's not closing down restaurants or anything, only ticketed entertainment. So I think governors just act as if they're a restaurant and to keep themselves open, and then just happen to have comedy.
Double the price of food.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what they should do.
$40. You just want that play for free, motherfucker.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And I had another guy, and they're very direct. It's like, what kind of panties you wear? You wear G-strings? I'm like, I don't wear G-strings. He goes, why not? It's like, 'cause I got junk in my trunk and under the hood, so that is not going to hold all this in.
I wanted to ask you about your goals and what kind of life do you want?
I just want to enjoy it. I want to not deal with people's BS. I want to go to work, enjoy what I do, which I mostly do. Come home and be able to relax or go out. And cool thing about being single is no one here to tell me what I want to do. If there's a dish I don't want to wash, I can do it tomorrow,
Right.
But the flip side of that coin is not having somebody around, which is kind of sad sometimes, So I guess one of my goals would be to find someone that, that I love and makes me feel better about myself too. And then we just share, time together and do stuff. And, that's a goal.
Very nice. Well, Emily, I think you're awesome. You are a hilarious comedian and a very funny person. And I think the world of you. And, where can people find you and check you out online? And are you going to be any secret shows coming up?
Can't talk about those. But if somebody's watching this and they would like to see me perform, I may or may not be performing sometime in the near future. So DM me for details, as long as you're not the cops. You have to say you're not the cops. You know, I'm not playing. I ain't going to jail. So I have a website, www.emilycomedian.com. I have a Facebook page, and there's no new dates on there, but there's a bio and some older videos and a little thing where you can drop me an email and get on a list so that when we can advertise shows, you'll get an email. And I have Instagram, but I think I missed the cutoff age-wise to like be able to use it effectively.
Right? Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly, 45. So I have an Instagram. It's not like something where I like drop and post every day like these 30-year-olds doing. Like
Right.
they're in the back and like, look, I just took a shit in the screen. Right? I don't do that. It's just like, you know, I post like once a week, maybe.
Well, Emily Santosus, we really appreciate you coming on the show, talking to us, being so open and candid with my questions, because I'm really fascinated about all that, and you're a fascinating person. And everybody, check her out. Check out Emily EmilyComedian.com.
Bingo.
And on Facebook and everything else. Thanks again, Emily.
Thank you for having
appreciate it.
You got it.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You have to subscribe to Don Sill's show, Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up on Govs Radio. It's a show with his buddy Benny. They're good buddies. They're on TV. I don't know what I'm saying.